Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I'm Fox 19 Now First Alert Meteorologist Brad Mousehart, back from vacation and slowly getting back into it. Hopefully you've been enjoying the last couple of days. Rain chances, yeah, they've been there, but it hasn't been anything too crazy. Yesterday, just a trace of rainfall at the airport, now up to 1.24 inches on the month, which is pretty close to where we should be. By this point of August, you're getting close to the midway point. Not one of our wettest months, but it's certainly up there. We're running a little bit of a deficit. Like I said, we're pretty close to normal, only 0.08 of an inch below where we should be. I was out of town in a high desert out there in Reno, Tahoe area, and it was beautiful, and now it's back to the very heavy air, if you're wondering where I've been and not paying attention there to Facebook. Yeah, it's been really dry outside, so my lungs, I feel like I'm just like really almost eating the humidity outside compared to when you've been in some drier weather for a while. Today's sunset, and we'll call this the weather number today outside of the rain total I just gave you for the month. Today's sunset, 8:37. I bring this up not because it's anything important or crazy. We are losing daylight over 2 minutes a day now, and by the end of this month, sunset time is going to be a little closer to the top of the hour. We started off the month almost close to 9 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock sunsets. Now we're back to 8:37. By the end of the month, it's 8:10. By the time we hit early December, we are going to be back to about 5:15 for the sunset time by the time we hit the early half of December. So enjoy those later sunsets. We still have plenty of summer to go. Don't worry about that. But those sunset times are getting noticeably earlier and earlier out there. We lose over 1 hour of daylight time in August, and we have quite a bit more of that to go. Quite a bit more summer, though. Like I said, it's nowhere close to done. You can see the forecast here. No real breaks in the humidity. It's been pretty sultry there after we had that one nice weekend. What was it, 2 weekends ago? The humidity's been pretty steady there for the last week or so. Even yesterday, we're going to be near the tropical, just flirting with it here as we work way through the next several days. Even with a cold front pushing in. Now that cold front, that arrives into, just making sure I didn't have any audio issues. Sometimes I'll get a text message if I forgot to unmute myself or something, but I think we're doing all right. We have a cold front set to slide in tomorrow, and it will pass us by. And typically when that happens, we see a drop in humidity, we see a good chance for rain, right, and then a drop in humidity afterwards. But this cold front doesn't go very far past us. It kind of stalls out just off to our south. And with that, we're not going to see much in the humidity relief. We will see rain-cooled temperatures tomorrow. And we'll have some slightly, near normal temperatures for the rest of this work week until we hit this weekend. As we dry back out, humidity stays the same. Temperatures are back in the 90s this weekend. And, feels like temperatures by Saturday and Sunday are going to be back in the triple digits. So, with that, again, pretty steamy stretch ahead, not much of a break, and over the last, let's say, 30 minutes or so, all these fair weather clouds have started to pop up across the area. I didn't look earlier. We can always just, stop the scripted version of this and go and check on this, but there might be some wildfire smoke aloft. I haven't looked at it. Let's see here. I'll just check on my phone. Let's see, wildfire smoke map. Let's see if we have any in our area, because what I'm looking at in the background here is kind of that milky white sky. It's either going to be a mostly humidity or might have some wildfire smoke mixed up there. Let's see what we got going on. Air quality, not great because it's been pretty dry. We haven't had a whole lot of rainfall. I'm just trying to see if we have, maybe there's a narrow band of smoke out there. Let's see. Trying to see. Yeah, there might be a little bit. Not a bunch. It's a lot worse up in northern Michigan and Wisconsin, but we have a little bit here. We'll have a look at that and get coming up in just a bit. And, of course, if anybody, as always, has any questions, comment there on Facebook. Yeah, it is. Susan here was talking about, it's what I like to call, Susan, the air you can wear, because you will definitely be wearing it outside. Humidity 63%. Let's just get out of the whole scripted thing here. There's no script, but just running through the show. I'm just going to go off here on a tangent, and we're going to look at the dew points. Once you hit the 70-degree mark, it's pretty tropical, right? You'll feel it. Mid-70s, awful. And when you get up to where Lebanon is, sitting at a balmy, a sultry, an awful, a soaking, whatever that is, 79 degrees, dew point's a level of moisture in the air, right? The higher it is, the more miserable it is. And when you get up towards 80, very rarely Do you hit the 80-degree mark here in the Midwest? Even with all the corn outside, and Lebanon's a special case because that airport center, it's surrounded by an agricultural field. I mean, it sits right in the middle of agriculture, so it's a little skewed. But if you're anywhere near any kind of agriculture, you're going to see numbers like this, near that 80-degree mark. It's corn sweats this time of the year. It just feels miserable, and that's what they're seeing right now up in Lebanon. That's why it feels so nasty outside. Here's the actual heat index now when you start to factor in temperature and that dew point. And we are sitting at 105, a chilly 105 over in Lebanon, 92 in Batesville, 96 in Middletown. And, you know, the airport sensors there, Lunken, CVG, not surrounded by agriculture. So the fact that they're even that warm is, you know, it's significant. You're definitely going to want to stay hydrated if you're going to be out and about. When you have all this moisture in the air, it makes it really hard for your sweat to work, so your body is going to sweat more. That's why the shirt just kind of sticks to you outside along with the moisture out there. So hydrate, because your body's going to try to work overtime to get that sweat to work. It just won't work that well because it has nowhere for that sweat to evaporate to because the air is already very saturated. So 105 in Lebanon, 89 in Wilmington. Stay cool out there where temperatures are just a little bit cooler there off to the west. That is where we have some rain and storm activity already pushing through. And you can see some of that near the Bloomington area. A few lightning strikes there just northwest of Bloomington along the I-70 corridor. That's west of Indy. Our area, it's just the fair weather clouds that, like I said, they've been popping up here just a little bit over the last half an hour. And those will be little thunderstorm seeds. Some of those might get going, but the overall chances, I have it at about a 40% chance today. Not zero, but not a lot of us are going to, it certainly won't be a washout. It's dry right now, but the earlier the better because it will get hot this afternoon, and with it, a few storms will pop back up. Just not for everybody out there. That's the cold front up to the northwest. That will be arriving tomorrow, giving us better chances for storms, and right now it looks to be an early wave and an afternoon wave. That earlier wave, through the early morning could slow things down for the morning drive, but could be pack a little bit more of a punch, and it might take something out of the atmosphere for round number 2 in the afternoon. So we'll keep an eye on the morning round of storms. Today, the thing we're keeping our eye on, at least everybody, is going to be the heat. That's going to be something that everybody's going to be dealing with. Low 90s, upper 80s, sultry, and it's going to feel worse than that. I mean, heat index values upper 90s to triple digits, low triple digits across the board today. So again, just stay cool, especially if you have one of those outdoor jobs. Just a very, very steamy day today. Now, this is an interesting thing. I'm going to be working 3, 4, 5, and 6 tonight. I know you're stuck with me through the early evening. I apologize. I know it's me. The reason being, Chief Meteorologist, soon to retire Chief Meteorologist, Steve Horstmeyer, is going to be throwing out the first pitch at the Reds game. Now, we work with the Reds. We give them all their game day weather updates. That's mostly been Steve, so they're bringing him out for the first pitch. I don't know what's going to happen. I have not seen Steve practice. I have not seen, Steve has not, asked me to bring a glove in so we can toss some balls across the street. I have no idea. I mean, Steve could have been a semi-professional baseball player before he got into weather. I have no idea what's going to happen with this. But he's throwing out the first pitch tonight. Reds hopefully doing something nice for Steve because he works very hard on their forecasts. And, that's a lot of games a year, a lot of home games a year. 90-something games probably a year, something like that. So, and here's what I also think is going to happen. This is my forecast for Steve's first pitch, which, by the way, he's throwing to Catherine Bodak. She's staying up late, and she's going to be out there catching Steve's first pitch, ceremonial first pitch for the Reds game tonight. Here's my forecast. The forecast is going to be Steve with his phone tracking the radar in one hand and then throwing the first pitch with the other because we will have a chance for some storms out there. Hopefully not to, it would be very Steve-ish and very weatherish, for the Reds' first pitch tonight to get rained out or postponed or delayed or whatnot with some storms rolling through. It's not going to be a washout. I think we get the game in, but it would be very timely if a storm rolled in right in time for that ceremonial first pitch. We'll see what happens out there. Actual first pitch at 6:40, so a little bit earlier than that 7:10 that we're used to. 6:40, that means it's probably going to be, about 6:30? And I think, maybe it's 6:20, somewhere in there. I think we're covering that live, so you can catch that at the 6 o'clock show this evening. So something to keep an eye on. Hopefully the Reds turn that one around. Been a little hit and miss here the last couple of weeks. We haven't gotten swept yet this season. I think we're still the only team that have not been swept outside. The other thing happening out there tonight, we're going to have to get a little lucky on this. The peak of the Perseid meteor shower is tonight. With that said, you could probably have a better opportunity of seeing this either tomorrow or into the day Thursday, because we'll see some clearer skies outside. But the Perseid meteor shower, one of our better ones of the year, that peaks outside tonight. We have a couple things working against us for the actual peak tonight, the first of which is the cloud cover, and I think that's going to be a real downer for this chance outside this evening. The other thing on there, as you can see there, just above the look east, which is the direction you should be looking for these generally. You can see them all over the sky, but generally they'll originate from the east. The other thing that's not going to help us is that moon. The moon out there was full a couple days ago, late last week, right? It's still about 80% full out there, just waning now. So, you know, it's going to wash out a lot of the lower level meteors, you might say, some of the dimmer meteors. But either way, big thing with this, if you do head out tonight, again, I'm not real confident we'll get a lot of breaks in the clouds, but if you do see some clear skies, you can certainly go out and check this out. Just be patient. Give yourself about 10 to 15 minutes for your eyes to adjust for this, because it'll take you a second if you're not in a dark area. For those eyes to adjust, don't look at your phone, right? Just let your eyes adjust to the dark sky, and that way you'll be able to see these a little bit more. But generally, you know, in a good year, you can see dozens of meteors per hour with this meteor shower. With that said, again, dozens might turn into low single digits, because you'll have to have some brighter meteors to see this, to get past the brightness of the moon, because that moon is also going to be in the east. So generally look somewhere around the moon. Don't look at the moon maybe directly, because it will kind of impact your vision. You'll have to readjust again to see some of those dimmer meteors. But either way, you can check that out. That'll be tonight, anytime after sunset to sunrise again. As long as it's dark enough, you'll be able to see these meteors. And then I think better chances overall you'll have to see that will be late Wednesday into Thursday, and then late Thursday into Friday. And you might get some, you know, some better chances there with some mostly clear skies, because here's what we're dealing with outside tonight. Again, clouds start to build back in. They're already building across the area. You can see it here in the screen behind me, some of those clouds going up. Clouds really thicken by 3 to 4 o'clock, and that is when we'll see some storms rolling on in. Again, not everybody gets wet outside. About 40% of us will see a shower storm outside this afternoon, and then rain chances fall apart a little bit, but then the cold front pushes in. This is early tomorrow morning. This is 4 o'clock. That's where I have it stopped for tomorrow morning. This would be enough in a lot of spots to slow things down for the morning drive, so be prepared for that. Showers, good rounds of thunderstorms are rolling on in as early as daybreak tomorrow. That's the morning round, and if this one takes enough energy out of the atmosphere, I'm hopeful that the afternoon and evening threat will be a little bit lesser. Either way, we do have a chance to see a stronger storm or two. Can't rule that out. That's a possibility. It is a cold front. We have a lot of moisture to work with, so just be prepared for that. Not expecting any overly, high severe weather threats, but it is at least a chance with that line that pushes in tomorrow. All right. So that runs us through 5 o'clock. Again, spotty storms through the afternoon, and then the clouds start to clear out a bit as we work away into Thursday. As those clouds clear out, that will open up the opportunity in some low-lying areas for some fog to start to develop. So we're talking areas like the Ohio River, Greater Miami, Little Miami River valleys. So all of those river valleys, that's where we could see some fog into Thursday and Friday morning both. Could be dense at times. It might not even be just, located at the river valleys. This might be a little bit more of a widespread threat, especially into Thursday. So just be aware of that. I do think we'll see some slowdowns into Thursday morning. Same with Friday morning. And then things may be a little bit more river locked and very localized into Saturday and Sunday. So at least a couple mornings there towards the end of the week that we could see fog opportunities. So we're running through this again. Let's run through Wednesday. There's that cold front dipping on by. Again, it just gets just south of us. It's enough to squeeze out a lot of the rain opportunities the next couple of days, but it's not enough to get rid of much of the humidity. That's still going to be sticking around in the tri-state area all the way through this weekend. And as we dry back out, there's still a slim chance for a shower storm Thursday and Friday. As you saw there, I'll slow that down a little bit. Here's Thursday afternoon. Again, it looks pretty widespread on here. I'm telling you, it's more of an isolated chance. Same with Friday. Friday, isolated chance for storms outside. But we generally will dry back out as we work away into the weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. And as we dry back out, humidity's still hanging around. You can bet those temperatures are going to start to skyrocket. We're talking 90s again Saturday and Sunday. A lot of summer left. We're nowhere close to being done with that. I know those sunset times are getting earlier, but summer is still here, and we're going to be hanging on to that. And the heat, like I said, it's back this weekend. Very little rain chances, into the weekend, which is great for the outdoor plans. But I can't even tell if that's easy or hard to read. I tried to find something with flames on it. I failed miserably. Well, I'll try again later. Either way, this weekend, Reds are taking on Milwaukee here at home. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe we can get them with the heat. They're used to that nice lake breeze up there in Milwaukee. Maybe we'll get them with the heat this weekend. A few heaters, too. Rain chances, again, pretty good chances today, tomorrow, and then Thursday and Friday. Things taper off. Not a ton of rain. Some areas, in some of those heavier downpours can certainly pick up an inch plus, but I'm not looking to see too much of a flooding threat. It would be very isolated if we see any kind of flash flooding today into early tomorrow. I should say tomorrow into early Thursday. Scattered storms likely through the day Wednesday. That's our best rain chance of the next 7 until we get into early next week. I think next Monday we'll see another storm system roll in, but tomorrow, good chance for storms. Just a slim chance for a few isolated downpours Thursday and Friday behind that front. You can see it helps the temperatures a little bit. But only briefly. 84 outside Thursday. That's still near normal for this time of the year, and then we're going to be climbing back into the weekend. 90s both Saturday and Sunday. Both days, a few clouds. Both days, hot and humid. Humidity values will make those temperatures feel like the triple digits both Saturday and Sunday through the afternoon. So, again, stay hydrated if you have any plans. Let's hop on down to the middle of the Atlantic. And this storm is 820 miles to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands. That's off to the west coast there of Africa and the Mediterranean. So that's it's in the middle of the Atlantic, basically, is where we are. If I zoom this out, you'll see it here in a second exactly where the storm is. But this is Tropical Storm Aaron, and those winds right now are at 45 miles per hour. So if we're going to get this up to hurricane strength, it has to be 74 miles per hour, even though the gusts are already up to 60. So sustained winds have to be a little higher than that. And this storm, it's kind of in a weird spot right now. It's over some cooler waters, but it's still managing to maintain some, power. Not a lot of, help from the atmosphere exactly where it is, but as it continues to push west here in the next couple of days, and it will push west fairly quickly. I mean, this storm is moving west at 23 miles per hour. The pressure is going to start to drop, and that storm will intensify, but not until the latter half of this week. So today, tomorrow, we're still going to be right around tropical storm strength, right? By the time we hit Thursday, and I know that's a little small on the screen here. Maybe I'll pull this up full screen so you can see what's going on. By the time we hit Thursday, we are expected to have Aaron become our first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Cat 1 by Thursday, but Aaron does not look to stop there. It's going to be moving into some warmer water, more favorable conditions, and by the time we hit the end of the week and head into the weekend, especially the second half of the weekend, Aaron might be a major hurricane as it works its way over towards anywhere between, Guadalupe, maybe up to Puerto Rico. And then we'll have to keep our eyes on this, because if I take control of this and kind of move the map out a little bit, which is going to make it look bad, but you can see that puts it, we'll see what happens. Right now, a lot of the model data, here's the good news, a lot of the model data has this storm heading west and then drifting more north. And it just depends on when it starts that northern curve. Some models have it really close to the east coast, which would be, more of an impact to the Outer Banks or the Carolinas, right? Likely not a landfall. We'll see what happens with this, because there's been storms in the past where it's done one of these and it gets kind of close. The models are all saying, hey, it's going to curve up here somewhere between Bermuda and the United States. But sometimes it just gets a little bit too far south. It doesn't get caught up with that area of high pressure and then continues. And then you get some of those storms that end up in the Gulf. Do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. It's still too far out. But what I do know is that, at least for right now, if you got any family or plans that take you down to Puerto Rico, San Juan, over here towards the Bahamas, be careful. There's a reason things are so cheap down there this time of the year in terms of flights and hotels, because we are getting into the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. So something to keep an eye on here with Aaron. Right now, still a tropical storm. Doesn't look like a lot, but it is expected to strengthen here pretty quickly as we work our way towards the end of the week. And with how all the previous Atlantic hurricane seasons have gone, don't be surprised. There's always some surprises in there, and Aaron is already forecasted to become a Category 3, a major hurricane. So the first hurricane of the season looks to be a major hurricane by the time we hit the second half of this weekend. Meanwhile, back here in Cincinnati town. No big issues from Aaron, more than likely. But what we are going to see, we have some of our own issues. And that issue is going to be the heat. First and foremost, that's going to bother us outside today. We'll see a little break from that. Heat index values drop into the low 90s by the end of the week, but it's going to be a quick turnaround as we head into the weekend. Triple digits in some spots as early as Saturday, certainly by Sunday and Monday. Higher heat, and then that before Monday. Monday might be a little cooler because I do think we see some scattered storms rolling back in for our day Monday, and that is the next time the Bengals play a game, and that is going to be out in D.C. They're playing the Commanders out there in D.C. here on Monday, the 18th. The only home game for preseason the Bengals have this year is the 23rd, and I think they're playing the Colts. They always play the Colts last. It's just easy for everybody. They'll play that one here at home. And here's some good news. Gray is, it's always good to see gray on this map because that means normal temperatures at least. Better to see blue this time of the year, but we'll take our gray where we can get it because most of the country is still going to be slow roasting out there as we work way through the latter half here of August, 20th through the 26th. This is days 8 to 14. Near normal temperatures here for us in the Ohio Valley. Normal, of course, is still 86 degrees. By that time, it'll be around 84, 85. So near normal for that stretch of August. Not bad. We'll take it. It certainly beats the 90s out there, but we'll see how long this lasts. Like I said, we still got a lot of summer to go. Over 40 days, I think, still around 40 days of summer. We're probably not nearly done with it just yet, but near normal is a step in the right direction here. And don't worry, I did remember to pull up the right 7-day. This one starts with tomorrow because it is the PM version here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, rain chances start to taper off. Wednesday's our best chance for storms here in the near term. I'll pull this up full screen so you can see it, especially on those mobile devices. Scattered storms out there Wednesday, and that is the final game with Philly. And hopefully we win both the game tonight and the game tomorrow. Steve's throwing the first pitch, so how could things go wrong? Thursday into Friday, that is where we catch a little break from the heat before things start to tick back up Friday afternoon. Slimmest of chances for storms outside for the Friday night fireworks. Fireworks Friday there. And the Reds are going to start a new 3-game series, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the Brewers. And, you can see what happens there. It gets red hot again into the weekend. Very little rain chance through the weekend. I have it like 10% chance both days. You get no big issues there. It's just going to be really, really hot outside. Heat index values likely in the triple digits as we work our way into this weekend and into early next week. And then our next best chance rain after tomorrow will hold off until Monday. So let's see if we have any questions, comments, complaints, suggestions. What do we got? What is the weather tomorrow morning? That's a good thing you asked because tomorrow morning we could see some storms outside. I know you asked that 7 minutes ago, so I apologize for just now reading it. But we do have some storms that could arrive as early as the morning hours tomorrow. And I'll show you that model here coming up in just a second to give you an idea of what's going on with that. But either way, steamy outside as we work our way back towards the end of the week this weekend. Got to get through rain opportunity tomorrow. Let me just check this one to make sure because sometimes I have some on my own page that I don't read because sometimes I forget. Let's see what we got. Nobody. Nothing. Wow, it's going to be a great day. All right, so let me hop back to that model. I'll show you tomorrow morning again real quick. We'll highlight that because I do think it'll slow things down tomorrow morning. Just depending on the exact timing, because these models are never 100% correct, but they give us a good idea. Right, so tonight, spotty storms out there. They linger through the sunset and just after. Tomorrow morning, it could be 4, it could be 6. If it was 6, a little bit closer to 6 o'clock, that would certainly impact the morning drive a little bit more. If it can get through here, this line of storms, the early line, by 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning, that would certainly be a lot better. For most of the commuters tomorrow morning. Either way, expect some slowdowns. Might have some standing water still on the roadways even as you head out and hit the door. And then another round of storms will develop through the afternoon. A little brief break and then more storms a little closer to peak daytime heating. That'll be into Wednesday afternoon. Then skies should start to dry back out for the most part Thursday and Friday. Just the slimmest of chances for storms both those days. So best chances really going to be tomorrow, especially morning and evening. Don't forget, tonight, peak of Perseid meteor shower out there. Again, not feeling great about the chances for this. Not the greatest chances for this because we have a mostly full moon. I think the moon's still at about 80% full. That is going to help to kind of really wash out the sky a little bit. It makes it hard to see things like those smaller meteors and meteorites. So if you're going to be trying to watch this, and the other thing is the clouds, and I really think that impacts everybody. I think best chances for this is going to be Thursday into early Friday. Today is just the peak. Tonight's just the peak, but you'll still have a good opportunity to see at least a few meteors out there Thursday into Friday before things calm down with this, one of our better meteor showers of the year. Let's hop back to the 7-day forecast here. I'll show you that. And, you know, even before we get there, let's just go back to this. Let's give a little shameless self-promotion. If you want to follow me on the Facebook, it is Meteorologist Brad Mouseharp. I'd love to have you there. The Tweeter or the X or whatever people are calling it, who knows. That is Brad with 3 A's. Brad Weather, WX, BRAAADWX. On that, you can find me there. And also on Instagram, where you can find soon some vacation photos. I'll have some of that just in case anybody really cares what I did on vacation, which was we headed out west. We caught a concert over at Lake Tahoe, which was beautiful. The traffic, not beautiful. Leaving that concert. And then, yeah, I don't know. We spent a day on a lake. That was beautiful. And then I lost, I think, like $20 at the casino, because I put $20 and I lost all of it, so I'm broke. I'm going to have to go find some lunch somewhere cheap. Anywho, great vacation. I'll be posting that stuff shortly, on top of trying to work on other graphics, which, by the way, as you probably noticed, because I told you last week, we got pushed back a week, and we were supposed to start the new graphics yesterday, right? That has gotten pushed back one more week. I'm hoping that's it, because I'm excited about getting these new graphics in there. And I hope you are too. And hopefully at some point you'll get to see them. They should launch early next week. We'll see. I don't want to throw out a specific date because it has gotten pushed back a couple times already due to unforeseen technical difficulties. So hopefully we get to get those out there for you. If you want to see a sneak peek, it is on Facebook. I posted a graphic because I scheduled it for when I was going to be on vacation, so it would launch with the graphics. It went out anyway. So that's a post about the fall forecast. A little something different. Maybe you can go on there and complain about it to me, because I'm the one that made it. The map and everything. So a little bit of a different look coming soon. That's a little sneak ahead, the sneak peek action. And here's a little sneak peek at the next 7 days. So if you're going to be out and about, here we go. Hot, hazy, humid today, slim chance for some storms. Rain chances ramp up tomorrow as early as the morning. We'll see another wave in the afternoon. Temperatures briefly dropping back from the 90s today into the mid-80s Wednesday, Thursday, and early Friday before things start to ramp back up. Reds hosting Milwaukee for another 3-game series Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Bengals, remember, they're out of town. They play Monday, but they are out of town in D.C., you know, if you're going to be around town, only sporting events we have going on this week, just those Reds series. That wraps up tomorrow. Another one Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And the weekend series, I mean, it looks pretty good. Fridays are our best chance of rain. That's just a slim chance. Saturday, Sunday, you know, not bad if you don't mind the that August heat and humidity. 90 Saturday, 92 on Sunday. Scattered storms return to briefly cool us off maybe a little bit in the next week, and we'll be looking forward to any cool downs we can get. It's been hot and humid summer so far. I think we're a little bit below normal for the entirety of 90-degree temperatures, for we typically should see through the summer months, or really through the year, I guess, as a whole. We just typically see them in the summer months. But a lot of summer left to go, a lot of 90s to tack onto that list, so we might end up being back above normal. I think the normal value is somewhere in the low 20s for 90-degree days here in Cincinnati, and I think we're up to like 17, so we're not too far off already. We'll probably add another one today, a few more out there for the weekend, so we'll see. We'll get close, at least to normal, maybe above that, with a lot of summer to go. So get out there, enjoy some sunshine. Earlier the better today. Maybe dodge the heat, maybe dodge the storms. If you're looking for dry days altogether, Saturday and Sunday will be your days, but you're going to pay for it and sweat with highs in the 90s. Enjoy your day, everybody.